Hey guys, hope all is well. I wanted to jump on here and do a Mark's education. It's funny because we actually met, I think 3 or 4 people that recognized us out this weekend, whether it was, I think it was brunch or at the gym another time. And the feedback was obviously they loved, our content, Mark's home tours, cocktails with Kurt. One of the things they absolutely love and wanted more of is education, both from Kurt and myself. So I figured I'd jump on here and kind of give you some education. A lot of people said, hey, on a Saturday or Sunday, I sit down with my notebook and I take my notes and I watch back your videos, which are always on Instagram TV and YouTube. So you could always look at our content there. And they're broken up into series on IGTV, so you could look easily for Mark's education. They said, hey, we sit there sometimes even on a Sunday night as a couple and, watch your videos as well. So it's really helpful. So I think in this environment that we're in, which is not going to lie to you, truly a seller's market. And people ask us all the time, like, what does that mean? Does that mean because I'm a buyer, I can't buy a house? Guys, you see our page. We've got dozens and dozens and dozens of people already on, the calendar to close this year. We got, I think, 2 coming this week, 2 next week. So the difference is it's people that, what I like to say is, that NBC like little skit that they do or little commercial that they do that's called The More You Know. I think it's the same thing when you're watching Great Homes ATL because it's the education, it's the more you know. If you go through our page and just like pretty pictures of houses or houses that are unattainable to you, then you're just another number and you're probably following 25, 30 different real estate agents out there. You're probably following HGTV, $1 Million Listing, all these things, and you have pipe dreams of what your life can be. And then there's another segment of people that actually listen to the education, follow the process, do exactly what we say. And these are the people that are closing on these beautiful, beautiful homes. A lot of them were able to do this, earlier this year or lock in before the market got so crazy because it had been years of actually following our advice, me pounding through your head all of last year, like pretty much historically low rates. This is the time to buy. People, when they're scared, and with COVID going on and stuff like that, this is the time to buy. And a lot of people now, I think you saw earlier in the week I posted, I think it was like, it was some crazy number. It was like I believe the trillions of how much as a country, people's property values, equity in their houses has gone up, which means people are sitting on a lot of wealth, a lot of opportunity when they go to sell their home, a lot of equity to tap into to pay off a lot of debt for credit cards or student loans, or buying investment properties or buying other investments or buying crypto, all these type of investments. People are making a fortune out there. And I want you to be a part of it. But it's a very strong message. It's a message of hope, but it's a message of discipline, organization, flexibility, and just some guidelines that need to be put into place. So I'm going to come up with a number. I was talking to Kurt about this, and he said, yeah, I think you really should share this with the people out there, all our followers. And I said, I do, but I don't want to scare a lot of people off. So let me just say the number and then explain. I feel very strongly, and Kurt does as well, in this particular market, again, it's a seller's market, again, but I'll explain how, as a buyer, how you can get into it. You need, I would say, 10% going into a transaction to put yourself in the best position to close on a home. And you might say, oh my God, what does that mean? Let's just take 10%. What is 10% of a $300,000 house? 30,000, 400,000, 40,000, 500,000, 50,000. You would say, whoa, I don't have that, or, I thought down payment was 3% or 3.5% or 5%. It is, guys, but let's explain to you, break it down, how I got to that number. And you may not need to use all of that 10% because there's different scenarios for new homes and people and in new homes getting some help with closing costs and stuff like that. But a general rule of thumb, if you don't want to be cash poor when you close on that home, because people have to buy furniture, people have to have reserves, if they get fired or laid off, the worst thing you can do is get a house and then lose it for various reasons, just because it's a place that you feel safe in. It's a place you're raising your family. It's an unbelievable stress, and it's a horrible thing to have on your credit that can set you back for years and years and years. So this is why I came up with the 10% rule, again, in this environment. So when you go for your pre-approval, that's one thing that we do not accept you as a client without. And it's even more important in this environment. These are the type of conversations you're going to have with the lender, who is them and ourselves are the top two people that are going to be important to you in this transaction. So when you go for your pre-approval, they're going to say Joe or Jane or whatever your name is. I'm just using very generic names right now. You're pre-approved for $300,000. So you're there and you're like, what does that mean? And they said to you next, well, you're approved for FHA. So they'll explain to you, yep, FHA, it's 3.5% down. The next person, you're approved for $300,000 for conventional. What does that mean? That means you could most likely choose between a 3% or a 3% or a 5% down. Those are the two most used down payment programs for the conventional. Okay, so you figure, well, where's Mark's coming up with this 10% after all that? I thought you're saying 3.5, maybe 5%. In other markets, you might have the ability to ask for help from a seller for closing costs. Not in this environment. Closing costs, for anybody that hasn't watched that video, and I've done plenty of videos on closing costs, let's just quickly break it down. You have lender fees, you have attorney fees, you have processing fees, and you have escrow accounts. Escrow accounts meaning your property taxes and homeowners insurance. In order to be a homeowner, the lender is going to require you to have homeowners insurance on that property to protect your and their investment. On top of that, you have property taxes. You are buying a piece of land, and your house is sitting, or townhouse or condo, on a piece of land in a city, municipality, county, right? So you have county, city taxes. That's what pays for schools and roads and other things within a city, state, or municipality. They are going to collect in that escrow account a certain amount of months, whether it be 6 months, 8 months, or a full year of property taxes and homeowners insurance, because every time you make that mortgage payment, that is going to be collected by the mortgage servicer entity. And then when it's tax time, they are going to send that out to the city or county for your property taxes and your homeowners insurance once that year is up. But you have to keep refunding that. That's what's part of your monthly payment, your principal, your interest, possibly if you have private mortgage insurance, your homeowners insurance, and your property taxes. And if you're in a flood zone, it might be flood insurance as well. So typically these closing costs are anywhere from 3 to 4%. So let's just say on the low end, 3%, on the high end, 4%. So you could already see, guys, if you're doing a 3% conventional or a 5% conventional, add anywhere from 3 to 4% to that. If you're doing FHA at 3.5%, and you're doing another 3.5% for your property taxes, and your closing costs, all that kind of stuff, your homeowners insurance, which is all part of that closing cost, you're now at a total of probably in that 7 to 6, 7, or 8% range. So for an example, on a $300,000 house, FHA 3.5%, 3.5% closing costs. At 7%, that's $21,000. So you say, okay, 21,000, that makes sense. But you said I should save 10%, which would be 30,000. Okay, now what is going on again in this market and in this environment? You know, you're at that right now about 21,000. If you're looking at a resale, everything has become a multiple bid situation where you're most likely going to have to go over the ask price. So what does that mean? That means, in this example, you are a pre-approved for this $300,000. In your mind, you're like, okay, I have that 21,000 set aside. So knowing that you're gonna have to go over the ask price in your bid, you say, okay, let's stick to looking at nothing more than like 275, 280, so I could aggressively put in an offer for, you know, 285, 295, $10,000 over the ask price. So what happens in that situation? What happens if the house does not appraise for the amount that I offered? In previous markets, it wasn't unheard of for the seller to come down to whatever the appraised value is. However, in this market, you're running into cash buyers, you're running into people that are either waiving their appraisal contingencies or doing some kind of shortfall. So in this example, let's just say that the house is 280,000, and you say, hey, I had Mark or Kurt reach out to their agent. Hey, have any offers come in? Yes, we have 25 offers on this house. Okay. Well, I know I'm approved for 300,000. Let's go all in. 300,000 on a $280,000 ask price. Now, what happens if the house appraises at 280? Again, the seller is not going to lower it in this environment down to 280. So again, how could you present the most competitive offer? Okay, well, I can still offer the 300 if it's 300,000, doesn't change my down payment, closing costs. I already kind of had that 21,000 number in my mind. Okay, I can make up a shortfall of $9,000, maybe $10,000 on an appraisal shortfall. So what would happen in that situation? Again, the house is 280, you offer 300, the appraisal comes in at 290. You're saying, I will make up the $10,000 shortfall. So for your loan will be processed off of the 290, the appraised value, and you now have $10,000 out of pocket. So look at those numbers. 21,000, you have to make up the 10,000 shortfall. That's 31,000. What did we say? The 10% rule. You are right pretty much at that, $30,000 for that transaction. And so that's the same scenario. Run those numbers off of 400,000, run them off of 500,000, wherever you're at. And then you have to say, how much do I have left over? Can I waive my appraisal completely? And a lot of people are doing that. Or can I I can present the offer to say, hey, I can give 5,000 over the appraised value, 10,000, 20,000, whatever that number is. So again, guys, this is not to be discouraging. This is information so you could be empowered to get out in that marketplace and take advantage of historically low interest rates still in the high 2s, low 3s. I mean, again, a couple of years ago, rates were 4.5%, 5%. We know because we bought houses at 4.5%, 5% with other clients, with ourselves, stuff like that. So don't be discouraged, be encouraged that you now have some kind of knowledge of how to go into it. I'll try to do another video on this as well, talk about how the new homes, but that's an example in the resale market. Rule of thumb, save up 10% of your pre-approved amount. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Make it a great day and stay safe out there.